All right, welcome. Purpose of this video is to show you how to automate a video or VST that was previously created. So in the last VST creation video, I had created this wavetable synthesizer. It's basically two wavetables, an effect rack, and then the ability to balance between the two. And so what I wanted to do now was to show you, okay, now you've created this thing and you want to now have automation on top of this thing that's been created. So you have the option of things called multi-parameters. So I'm going to set up some multi-parameters for this interface, and then I'm going to automate them all with 3 LFOs, and we'll have a kind of a funky result as it all starts out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my wavetable thing, and I'm just going to bring up an empty synth. I'm not going to do any UI, it's all going to be in the modulator section. So I'm just going to click this open, and I'm just going to slide this off to the side. So what I have is an input and an output. So in order to do this kind of automation, I just simply drag my 2-table synthesizer that I'd previously created, and if I double click it, you'll see that it opens up in a new window, and I have a whole bunch of options here. So now that this is open, what I need to do is set up the multi-parameters. So I'll click this section here, and I'll open up another window, and I want to set up these 3 parameters right here. So what I do is I just simply double click the little dial, and I select add mapping, and I specify under polysynth the oscillator, and I want to specify the IDX. I'll want to repeat the process for here. But instead of oscillator under polysynth 1, I want to do it for polysynth 2 and the IDX. And the last one is the balance. So I'll add the oscillator balance and pitch, and I specify the balance and click OK, and I'll click done. So now these 3 are set up. You'll notice that this is IDX and IDX, so to differentiate between the two, I'll double click the name here and type in IDX1 and IDX, and I can specify any name I want, but I'm just going to use those 2 now. So then what you do is these are now controlling these values. So if I change these dials here, you'll notice this strip moving up and down. Similarly, if I move this dial, you'll notice this one moving. And similarly, if I move this dial here, you'll see the balance moving as well. If I move these controls inside of here, you'll notice that these dials are changing up and down accordingly. So I have this sort of control set that I can do either of these 2 guys with. So now these multi-parameters are set up, I can close this down. And inside my wavetable synthesizer, I can now wire it up. So I'll need some modules, and I need 3 parameter events, and this will become obvious in a second. And I'll need 3 LFOs, and if I can spell them correctly, they'll come up. So 3 LFOs. There. So I'm just going to drag these guys off to the side. Like so. And this is just for organization purposes. These parameters all drag into this wavetable synthesizer, like so. And also I have to wire up the MIDI that's going to come into the synthesizer and have the audio come out. So for this first one, it's going to be IDX1, which is no change. This one will be IDX2, and this one will be the balance. Okay, And if I go back into my wavetable synthesizer and I go into this parameter, if I start altering this parameter, you can see this guy changing here as well, which of course makes sense. So now in order to actually wire this up, it's really straightforward. I'm going to first set the speed here to 1/3. I'll set this one to 1/4, whatever the tempo is. And actually, before I get into that, I need to do one more thing. I'm going to set this to, I think 4 would be good enough. And now I'm going to drag the modulator in, and as soon as I do that, you should see the balance moving. Or actually, you will see the balance moving. And it's moving way too fast. I'm going to make this 1/4. Actually, I'm going to make it 1/10. 1/10. 10/1. There, that's better. So you'll notice that as it slides all the way across, that the bar comes to the edge and stops. And you're wondering, well, why is it stopping? And the reason for that is the amplitude here. The amplitude is 100%, which basically means from the center of this bar, it's going to go 100% to the left and 100% to the right. And it's only 50% the distance. So the total distance here is 100, but from here to here, it's going to be 50. So we have to set the amplitude here to 50. So now when we set it to 50, it's going to go the entire distance. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. And you'll notice it gets to the edge and stops, and then immediately goes back to the other end. So that amplitude will have to be set for all of these guys. So 50 and 50. So now I'm going to just drag the LFOs in and in like that. So now you can see the automation happening on the indexes for these two wavetables and the balance. And of course it's going to have a totally funky sound, but this is what it sounds like. So totally wild kind of results. That's how you automate the parameters of a synth that you previously created. Hope you had fun, and we'll see you in the next video.